breakfast while eating.
All right. So, Gonzo, I'm recording just so we have this FYI, and streaming. So, welcome everyone to The God Who Weeps. This is my friend Chris Shelor. Ladies and gentlemen, we're actually having a powwow. This is a published video. If you're one of the fans here, you're going to see it. We have 0 viewers right now. I'm going to go ahead and log in and make sure that there's 1. But, that being said, thank you all who are joining for joining, and we'll make sure as we move into the future, we'll have some additional content and inputs therein. So, all right. So that's easy enough. And it joins. There's the next thing. I'm willing to do. Oh wow! Look at me. Fucking. You can hear me in the background. I can mute this shit. There we go. So, recording it, having a good time. I'll send it to you later. But yeah, there's too much stuff that we're capturing. Fucking fat shit. Fucking Churchill. Dude was doing it and doing it well.
Yeah, he was. He was just crushing his life and still, having a good time, but still kicking ass and taking names at the same time.
And so my thing is, I'm looking also as part of the podcasting. This may be something you want to do. Having raffles, people who join, people who are new subscribers, stuff like that. I'm willing to put some money behind it, and that's something I'm going to do. And I'm just like, hey, you know what? First time subscriber, donate $1, get 5.
Nice.
And limit $5. People are going to get 25 if they donate it. Somebody's going to go and create a bunch of accounts, and be just my luck. I got to spend $1,000 to make $250. But again, it's something fun. Well, $200 because that would be $1,000.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was wanting to do. I was hoping that I talked about certain brands I use and like drinking certain whiskeys and stuff, that some people would reach out to me and hey, we heard you were talking about, Jon and Chris whiskey. Why don't we send you a couple bottles of it? And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, send me of it. Then that way, next podcast, I can be like, hey, you send me an email if you write in and say whatever word or something stupid. I don't know, if you enter a drawing, we'll send you a free bottle or something like that. Well, so yeah, that's what if. Or I even thought about doing an Instagram post, like on the Instagram, hey, tag 4, like how the normal shit is, tag 4 friends and write like, why do you like the podcast or something, and then we'll enter you in a drawing, and then we'll get your stuff and send you a bottle or whatever it is, a shirt, who cares,
Yeah. And that's really, where are you at for getting people to be involved?
Sure.
And,
get more eyes.
Get eyes on that, and, really get that sort of engagement. And, I want to have a good time. I'm looking at maybe doing a morning setup. So, having video games in the morning, like, what can I knock out in 15 minutes and have a good time? Like right now,
sure.
I'm doing the Lost Ark, and of course, because I'm streaming on Twitch, I want to make sure that I'm at least, in not disingenuous, but genuine to the idea that, I'm doing video games, because I really do love video games. Talked about the artwork in the background that is 100% dedicated.
See, the thing is, we got to stay true to what we really enjoy.
Yeah.
And what we have a passion for. And
game, recognize game, real, recognize real.
Instead of trying to do something that we don't really give a fuck about, because, this is kind of like we were talking about earlier, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of sacrifice, but even if it's not, if it's something that we actually enjoy, just hanging out with each other, talking about cool shit that we like, talking about exploring ideas, it's really not work at the same time. It's really just a hangout. It's really just a throwdown with the boys, have a couple of drinks, chill, talk bullshit, and see what happens. Like if, even if it'd be one of those things that, the other dudes in our whole little circle would come in here. Like, we don't have to treat it like a podcast, because or even a gaming channel or whatever, just us talking and having a cool drinks and just chatting about life and our takes on, things and stuff. It turns into a podcast, but if you don't look at it as a podcast, it's just because my theory or philosophy is that, you and I, even we've never gotten true deep on Xbox gaming because we're just in there, shitting on each other, talking shit with each other. But, in regular hangouts when we've just like 4 or 5 of us just been sitting there drinking, we've talked about life and what we think about, X, Y, and Z, and we shared our thoughts. And that's really just a podcast right there.
That's it. And there's a lot of value, in my opinion, people that can, see, enjoy what we're doing, what we're talking about, bullshitting, etc. And just, give it a shout, give it a holler. Like I'm sending out right now just to let the guys know we're bullshitting. But it's not anything other than just us talking and seeing what people want us to talk about, but also what we want to talk about as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to have a set thing. Like, that's the reason I like a shoot from the hip because, when we get a good flow together and when we get, the magic and the camaraderie going or whatever you want to say it, some of our takes on, life events, whether it be COVID, Roe v. Wade, First Amendments, AI, what's going to be happening in 2030? What do we want out of our careers? Stuff. It just automatically just comes out of us, and it's a natural, kind of very authentic thing. And that it's not like somebody sat here and just had to rehearse and really because I forgot who I was talking to. One of the guys, he teaches at MIT. And this episode hasn't come out yet, but he was talking about how he's got a book called the Career Toolkit where he actually shows people how to interview and, be the best that they can be during their interviews and train themselves and stuff like that. And
did he rank you? Like, did he give you some pointers? Like, say that you do this good, Yeah,
I mean, to an extent, yeah. I mean, we really enjoyed the conversation. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil, everything, but
little preview of the remix, not all.
But yeah, a little preview was that, because I asked him, because I was like, I remember when I was coming out of college, and even in college, when I did interviews, I was always like, I really didn't have a lot of prep for him. And his argument was that too, and this is true too, that in college they don't really teach you that, the benefits of networking and the benefits of actually practicing, which – yeah, they had all those workshops and stuff like that, but they really didn't push you to go to those things. It was, it's kind of like, just go if you want to.
They put one flyer in a corner of a building. Like, oh,
right.
Would you like to meet people? Yeah. Like, generic as fuck. Like, that was...
Right. And it was like, okay. But and that's exactly. That was a great point, John. And that was his argument. And that, okay, well, that was the whole point of, like, getting a job. But I lost my thought. Okay, yeah, my thought was that, so yeah, I didn't really know how to interview or what to say when coming out of college. And I remember just saying off random shit and just like, that didn't sound good. And then I remember telling him that, well, when I first signed off, that was a terrible interview. I sounded like an idiot, I was like, okay, I got to go study up. I got to go read these books. I got to rehearse questions. And I was like, that was my argument for him, though. It's like, was that truly me, though? I was just saying shit that they wanted to hear. I was not really telling them how I feel.
It's rote regurgitation. It's like, I remember it. I'm saying it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like that genuine Chris of like, hey, my name Chris Healy, I'm hanging out here. I'm having a good time with you, I'm just wanting to tell you I'm doing this. I mean,
that was like, I was like, that was not the true person they were getting. And that was like, I mean, I get interviews, I don't really enjoy it, but I kind of get like, hey, we even said like a first date's an interview, but it was kind of like,
oh shit, 3 followers, 3 viewers, by the way. Let's go. But
yeah, so that was my thing. It was like, hey, what is some better ways to go about this rather than just saying, hey, because say if you regurgitated whatever you were just talking about, or you're rehearsing everything, you get to the interview, you start talking, you fuck a sentence up, you say something completely wrong, you're done. Then you're like, I remember, I was like, oh shit, I'm done. I got so nervous. Like, I messed that up so bad. Like, I didn't know what to do. So, well, yeah, I don't know. That was I don't know where I was really going with that thought, but.
Well, so I'm going to say energetically where I feel like you're going with that fault is that there's two things. There's learning about what you don't know and being better prepared for it. And the other thing is that fucking up's fine. Like, usually there's, oh my God, I said hi to a pretty girl and she said you're an idiot. And you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't tell her all about my fucking Star Wars collection. Like, there's that. And, when we were growing up, that was something that, it made sense. Like, you don't go out there all full nerd. You learn how to interact with people, talk to them, seek a partner that you're looking for, etc. And then there's that whole fucking up of like, well, I didn't mean to, stab that dude 89 times. Like, well, maybe you went too far. That's not that's not a learning experience. But, you learn by fucking up and by doing good. I think, so one of the things that I really enjoy, people like Gary Vee, and he is phenomenal about his just genuine approach. And I really enjoy that. And Gary Vee talks about like, oh, I say fuck a lot. And people are like, well, why don't you, curb that down because you have children, they're in school, and Mrs. Miller, whoever the fuck doesn't like it. And he's like, well, Mrs. Miller was the one that told me that I wouldn't grow up to be shit, so while I'm not being disrespectful, I don't care about her opinion. And it's like, I'm going to be me.
Yeah.
But not to a point of being disrespectful to someone else. Just, I'm going to do me. I'm going to be me. And there you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's, really what we're getting into. And the fun part about doing this sort of stuff, and this is, guys, for those of you that are still on, this is Gonzo. We haven't really figured out what we're doing. Yeah, this is a podcast that we traditionally do, every, month or two. Thank you, Chris. Sheeler Select. If you haven't been watching Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee's The South's #1 podcast of 2022, ladies and gentlemen. Change your life. Watch this guy. Shameless plug.
Thank you.
Aside, being able to come on here, talk about these sort of things, figure things out. We're in the next phase. Everybody, we were talking about this a little bit ago, and of course I'm pandering before you and I have our more intimate conversation, and it'll slide into that in my opinion. We were talking about how like things are fucked up. There's been times that, Chris has had a couple hundred people viewing in a podcast, and there's like been fucking 3.
Sure.
And what do you do? Like, how do you deal with that? And I think that there's so much content about how people are like, well, all you have to do to be successful is go out there and try. Is it though? Because that's how you get the guy at Virginia Tech that stabbed a girl. Like, it's not about going out there and trying and winning. Like, trying doesn't mean you win. Trying means you learn how to lose.
Yeah.
But you learn how, when you lose, how to be better, to be less likely to lose. It's a percentage game. It's like, well, sure. It's like I played basketball. I learned if I don't touch the ball, I lose 100% of the time. Well, maybe you should grab the ball and dribble. Okay, well, I'm dribbling. Well, I'm not really good at dribbling, so I lose 80% of the time. Well, maybe you should get better at dribbling. Well, so you're getting better at dribbling, so you dribble the ball down the court, and you shoot it, and your shooting sucks. It's like, well, I lose 60% of the time, so maybe I should be better at shooting, but you're already good at dribbling at that point. So you're getting better. And then so you're dribbling, you're shooting, you're like, oh, I'm really good, but my defense isn't good. So you're only losing 40% of the time. You're like, well, maybe if I'm better at my defense. And so every time you lose, you learn what you need to get better at. You get better at it and you move forward. And so that's really, again, not to, again, pander to the people that are watching, but also just to have, again, this chat. Chris and I are trying to do these Thursdays. It's going to be Thursday, every other Thursday, 8 o'clock, 8:30-ish. I'll let you guys know. Chris will let you know. He has a variety of things. Let's see here. So, Chris, you're on Spotify, you're on Apple, you're on YouTube, you're on Stitcher, Podbee, Amazon, Google Podcast, Rumble.
Rumble not so much, but I got a couple of videos.
Probably on Bumble, and you're maybe on Grindr too, right?
Bumble, Grindr, Hinge,
whatever it takes, baby. Whatever it takes.
Tinder, whatever. Match. Put them out there. eHarmony.
There it is.
Gotta cast a wide net, baby.
Yeah. Gotta find love in all directions.
Hey, man. Found love in a hopeless place somehow.
Yeah, we've been in a hopeless place or 3. That's for damn sure.
Or 3.
Dark side.
Dark side of Radford, you find a lot of hopeless places over there.
But so the cool thing is, being able, and we talked about this, so recording this sort of stuff, having this sort of interaction where, people want to talk about their wins. Like you're always looking at, or they want to talk about other people's losses. There's nothing better than watching people fuck up. Like, dude, I probably send you like 10 Instagrams a day where it's like somebody eating shit.
Yeah.
Remember that dude, like he was doing a backflip into the pool, fucking lands on it, but he's under the deck. So he's like, blap, and he's all wrong. It's like, and then you get people that are trying to do like crazy moves. And everybody loves Tony Hawk.
Sure.
Like Tony Hawk did the fucking, not, was it 920, 960?
1080, wasn't it?
No, so the 1080 was 2 flips. He did 3. It was the 960, 920, something like that. It was a full 3 spins, and it was a big deal because he was the first skateboarder to do it. But nobody wants to talk about how many times Tony Hawk had to eat shit doing 2.5 flips, hitting that side like
The 1080.
Yeah, he's like, bloop, blah.
No, you said it was a 9 something.
Dude, Tony Hawk.
360 times 10 is, or 360 times 3 is a 1080.
Oh, fuck, it is a 1080. Math is hard.
I was like, what? A 9 something?
Yeah, he was.
That's cool. That's cool.
He did 3 flips, and that's, again, nobody talks about how many times he ate shit. And I'm sure he did it plenty. There's probably videos of him.
Practicing that? Yeah. How many scars, cuts, bruises, whatever you want to say, yeah.
Concussions, like.
Yeah, and what is he? Is he in his late 40s now or 50s?
He's old.
He's still killing it, though. He's still pretty good. I think he's got his daughter doing it, too, now. But he made skateboarding. I mean, when anybody says skateboarding, they automatically say Tony Hawk. But he's one of those guys that have actually came out and to be a legend of his sport, he's actually probably in pretty good health,
Yeah, like him, Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and obviously Michael Jordan. It's because I had to do the big 3 from the All-Stars in the 90s, that cartoon.
Sure. Yeah, no, we were talking about, do you know who Ronnie Coleman is?
Dude, I hope that he can rest easy at night because his biography that they released on Netflix, that shit was heartbreaking.
Did you watch it? I didn't. I listened to him on a podcast, and I didn't want to watch it because I thought it would
hurt. It hurts in the best way because you're looking at a dude that is 100% a good guy. Like he's not a guy that had the super big ego with the shitty attitude, terrible. Like he was a guy that went in there, worked out, wanted to be the best, wanted to put in the work, but he didn't want to get in anybody's way. He didn't want to be that guy that was, shitty to anybody else. Like he was always that person that showed up, did well, and in his biography, you're seeing these heartbreaking moments where he's walking with 2 crutches because he's all fucked up. But you're also seeing these really uplifting moments where these other... Are you there? Did you cut out? Got some... Hello?
Hello?
There we go. You're back.
Check, mic, check.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
So, the just absolute wonderment of him going from barely top 15 to number 1 and then consistently staying there. And the bodybuilding community that all of these guys talk about, it's probably the antithesis of gym culture that, who's that? Joey Swole? Who's that?
Sure. I don't even keep up with it much anymore.
Well, there's some dude, and he's, what's say, like Johnny Swole, Joey Swole, whatever. And he talks about like being better in the gym. And it's basically like letting people come in. It's all about gatekeeping. Like, don't gatekeep and allow people to not have fun, enjoy what they're doing, etc. And every one of those guys wanted to be the best, but they didn't keep any other person in their group from being the best. They were like, we're all busting our ass. And if we weren't the best, we talked to the people that were and how to be better. And it was, real recognize real and high tides. And it's one of the few communities I've seen that was really, and again, you don't see that at the lower levels of competition, because lower levels of competition are like, well, fuck you, man. If you're better than me, I'm going to ignore you. It's not that building up of people saying, hey, I see you have talent. If I can help you be better, then I'll be better by seeing what you do differently from me, and that like mutual growth concept. So it was cool.
Yeah, it's what was it saying? High tides raises all ships.
That's it.
Like. But yeah, I mean, this is one thing being in the podcast community, if that's what you want to say. That
I would say you're in the top. What is it? You're in the top 0.25% right now, which is it's wild to think of it as a concept.
Sure, but like talking with people, and it was basically to your point, John, exactly what you just said. That even in that community, even though we're you're promoting X and I'm promoting Y, the other person's promoting Z, that everybody's there to help one another. So it's kind of like, hey, I can pass it. And some of my conversations that we've been when we're not recording, like, hey, man, I really appreciated that. I really want you to come on my show. And it was like vice versa. And I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, yeah, I'll be more than happy to help you. You supported me coming on my show. I'll do the same for you. And it's a cool community because it's not like, hey, I'm trying to beat you. I want to be better than your show. I'm actually just, hey, let's help each other out. Let's grow. Let's create content with one another.
So have you been on other shows?
I've been on 2 so far. And
you gotta share that shit. I'll watch it.
Okay. I've been on 2, and then my 3rd one's coming up in August.
Shit, all right.
Yeah, and then the last, or one of my other previous guests, that episode hasn't come out yet. He wants me to come on his back in, or sometime after August. So yeah, and it's another way of promoting. And what is selling your brand or whatever you want to say, or your call to action. That's what I'm trying to say. And so and I guess my point is though, it's just so cool that to have people like that around you that are just, hey, let's support each other, let's build each other up, and not try to shit on each other and stab each other in the back. And that way we can help each other grow in some form of another. So it's really cool communities, or a tribe, or whatever you want to say, when you surround people like, I mean, the same way with you, John. I mean, you and I just sitting here bullshitting before this, that we're
right.
we're on the same wavelength. We're trying to help each other do something bigger than let's work the regular 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever it is.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, dude, and trying to do something cool. Trying to grow a little bit. Trying to make something out of this life. What is it? Time is our own worst enemy, and it waits for no one.
What is it? Wind. What is it? So there were 2 of Bilbo Baggins' riddles in when he was talking to Gollum. One was wind and one was time. It's like wind was it bites but it doesn't. It has no teeth. But then time was like it destroys, creeps, something. I'll look it up. But yeah, time definitely. We don't have more of it, man.
It's the only thing that money's never bought any more of.
The gospel of. Who's the guy I've been talking about? The wall. Was it not the Wizard of Wall Street?
Wolf?
Not the Wolf. No, the other one.
Gordon Gekko?
How I can see that bastard's face and I can't think of his name. Who's the really rich guy that he's like number 3 right now? Owns Berkeley.
Buffett?
Yeah, Warren Buffett. Thank you. Fuck me. So, Warren Buffett, he said he guards his time most preciously because he can buy anything he wants except for more time. Yeah. He's like, it's the only thing he can't buy. And so he guards his time. And I was like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, That's what it's about. How do you spend your time? Wait, what are you doing? Are you sitting on the house? Sitting on the couch watching Netflix for 16 hours, which I'm not knocking. I like doing that too. I love TV shows. I love movies.
Are we going to go hard? Are we going to talk about Stranger Things season 4 already? Or
Ooh, we could, I guess, bro. But
I mean, it's been out for a week. I think spoilers are.
Yeah, I know everybody was crushing it over July 4th weekend. That I know that talks about it. So yeah, we can, but
Here. Well, you're breaking up on me a little bit again. Hold up. Every time you get excited, the internet dies. Are you back?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
My connection keeps saying internet unstable.
Yeah, I was like, every time you get excited, the internet dies.
So why on earth? We've been talking for 2+ hours now, and then
yeah.
Now it says it's becoming up unstable. There is an issue in my little neighborhood over here with the line, so I think it's got something to do with it.
Motherfuckers monitoring your output, and they're like, well, you've been on the internet long enough, young man. It's time for you to go to bed.
Dude's been on OnlyFans too much.
Hey. And you're like, I'm uploading, not downloading. It's good. It's good. Don't worry about it.
What is, my FBI agent keeps watching out for me and like, what's this guy talking about now? Damn, we got to get him off here.
I'll be honest with you. If my FBI agent was watching, he'd be blinded by my masturbation alone in my early 20s. It's like,
is this all this guy does?
It's like, who's your FBI agent? Fucking Ray Charles.
I was like, he's watching this one again?
Yeah.
Damn.
What's his theme song? Blinded by the light. So, actually, I want to say it, like one of my favorite quotes I've been thinking about lately. It's like, what have you given up to get what you want? And we talked about this a little bit ago. And again, my apologies for not just fucking banging out that record. But it's like, what have you given up to get what you want? For instance, like right now, I'm not spending time with the missus. I'm not, watching Netflix. I'm not, looking up videos and stuff. You're not either. No. Like you and I are talking. We're making content, and that's cool. Everybody wants to make content till they don't. Like everybody wants to, talk about watching The Boys, talking about Stranger Things 4. Everybody wants to be like, I just played this new video game. Everybody wants to do that. Like I can't think of a single video game company like Call of Duty. Everybody wants to say, yeah, I did it. But then it's like, well, how did you produce content from that?
Yeah.
And we're talking, and so this is the real questions we get into. And this is why, again, we're trying to do this weekly session. And it's like, how do you produce meaningful content? Because I'll tell you, Chris, my video game playing has dropped.
Mine too.
Since I bought the new Xbox, and even before I bought that, I bought a Elgato because I'm a brand slut for Elgato because the shit works.
Nothing wrong with that. Do that. If you like a brand, there's something wrong.
Dude, the shit works. And y'all motherfuckers can't sponsor me because I bought all your shit. So it's like at this point, you just have to either pay me money or we're gone. But there you go. I like to hold up. Well, dude, that looks. So it looks like you're in a dark room. That one's warm. I like that one. That one looks clean. I can see. I see your eyes a little better. I mean, not now because your fucking shit ran out again. Bradford Internet, get your shit fixed today.
Back, baby.
Yeah, there he is. So, I like that one, and not that one. So I'm being a little. That one looks clean, and I'll say this. Yeah, well, first of all, and I'll be a little bit of a dick. I don't see that shine on your forehead. First of all, let's use that fucking turtle.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's the reason I keep playing with it, is to try to figure out what's the best one I need.
I'm gonna put some makeup on that shit, my man.
Oh,
dude, that's why I cut my hair short. I loved that fucking bowl cut for a long time, but you can't have a decent worth of fuck haircut.
No, continue with your thought though. You were on a good thing there.
So being able to get, podcasts. What do you want to do? What are you giving up? I think last Friday I did some Call of Duty, some Gears. I shit the bed. I was playing with, Lester. Well, we use the use screen names for now. Actually, no. I'm going to go ahead and call out Mr. Devin Dalton.
You've been on the podcast.
He's been on the podcast. He's a hell of a guy. We were playing, and I'll be honest with you, we took more shots in the face than Jenna Jameson. It was fucking awful. It was fun. I didn't record any of it. Went on and did a little bit of recording for Call of Duty. And again, not a ton of viewers, and that's cool. It's the idea of trying to grab viewers and like, oh, look at me, I'm online, I'm super cool. Like, I'm fucking know I'm cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, what value do you bring to somebody else's life? And one of the things, like how to be genuine, how to build this brand, how to be, about it. And I see these people again, like Gary Vee, that are talking about like, how to live your best life. And it boils down to live your best life. There's not a secret formula. There's not a code that tells you, up, down, left, right, A, B, A, B. Just do you. And people are going to like it or not, but be cool with that. And I think like your genuine curiosity, I'm gonna fluff you a little bit. But
Get me.
Your genuine curiosity for these individuals, people that you brought on your podcast, has really made you successful, and you should continue that.
Yeah. I mean, well, just to continue with your thought, I mean, I think a lot of people, maybe I shouldn't say a lot of people, but people get in love with the idea of doing something, right? Like, so, we're talking about...
Oh, distracturbation is the best thing that people do. It's like, oh my God, if only I just did this. And you know what? Consumerism and distracturbation are tied hand in hand.
Distracturbation, I like it. But yeah, I think a lot of people get in love with the idea of, being a Michael Jordan, a Gary Vee, who else we talked about tonight? Ronnie Coleman. But when it actually comes down to, what you said about sacrifice, Ronnie Coleman in that biography, parts of what I've seen of it, he was in the back corner using the weights that were dusty that nobody else wanted to use. Yep. He was eating strict diets. He's actually putting in the work.
And hard work, and he was a police officer for years, so this dude wasn't making Arab money like.
Not starting out.
He paid his own sponsorship like 9 or 10. Seriously, watch his biography. That's really a self-made man. And
my point is that I think a lot of people, when it comes down to it, they're seeing that, oh shit, I got to sit out here and grind for a couple hours on a Friday night and Saturday night when all my friends are at the bar, and I'm out here doing work, or I'm out here recording a video or whatever when I could be doing that. They don't, and like you said, you're being time away from the missus. I mean, they don't understand what it goes into putting in the type of work in order to grow that. And yeah, you don't get it off the bat. It's not like it's going to happen overnight, which it sucks, and I'm right there with it. You want it to happen to be successful immediately, but there's only rare outliers out there.
You're over 100 episodes in. You've had doctors, you've had lawyers, you've had honestly like pinnacles of industry on your podcast. You've had people that are, everywhere from no figures to fucking 7 figures on your podcast a year. And you can measure success for any of these people. You've had people that have, I think there was that one lady, she was a lawyer near partner that decided to open up her own wellness and fitness organization.
Yeah, she's a badass person, man.
Yeah, and so, being a student of history, not a historian, but being a student of history, you look back, nothing has ultimately changed in the last 200-300 years in this country. We have waves and cycles, and it seems ridiculous. Like, oh my God, we have computers, we have phones. Like, yeah, but you know what? It's the people that are happy and producing content, the people who are unhappy that are going to their 9-to-5s, the people who are happy going to their 9-to-5s, the people that are making kids, not making kids, people are doing this. Like, everything boils down to what you put into it, you get out of it.
Sure.
like people don't understand. It's like, well, women have been shit on for years. It's like, well, Anne Rice actually started the vampire genre, and she was what, 20 years old, female Arthur. Yeah, she had some tough goes of it, but she fucking did it and made it. I think Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was literally the antithesis of what is the monster horror genre, and she was like 17. So the excuses of people being like, well, it's not my time, like, fuck you. It's not your time because it's not time for you to make it your time.
Yeah.
And that's really, again, why I'm excited to have, again, these conversations with you, having people join, which right now, again, it's just me.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine, dude. It sucks, Well, it sucks, but it doesn't suck. And you know what? Hold on. I want to give a shout out to her, Karen Nicole Batar. And for those who don't know her, I mean, she went to Duke Law, which is, Harvard of the South, is what some may say. And for a girl who had a very successful lawyer, I guess she was a partner, practice. Sorry, Karen, if I fucked this up. But she was a lawyer, and she decided, nah, I'm out. I'm done. Like, this is not for me. And she started her own Kundalini yoga. And, she's just helping people live to be the happiest, healthiest, and the most successful versions that they can be of themselves.
Right.
And which is great. She found something she truly wanted to do with her life, and talk about sacrifice. And I don't want to say time wasted, because, I'm sure not going to, having Duke Law on your resume is,
that doesn't suck.
It does not suck. It's a great feat.
I hear Duke does pretty well for their students.
For sure.
Yeah,
and so, but yeah, to talk about sacrifice and what she had to give up to become a successful attorney, and then to say, nah, bro, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna do some yoga stuff. And yeah, it's badass, and it's bold. It's a bold move, and it's a great move, and I'm really inspired by stories like that. Because like, how many people really enjoy going to their 9 to 5? Have you ever read the book Bullshit Jobs?
No, but I'm putting that down.
Okay, so there's a book, and I forgot the author's name, but it's basically about how people go to a work and they actually fake, like, how they're actually like, I'm working. I'm I'm doing my TPS report. I got it.
I did both copies.
And just how like, at the end of the day, it's just how insignificant they feel, and like how it displays so much immortality, or how just bad it plays on their self-esteem. They're just like, I have to go to this job and fake like I'm working for 8 hours a day.
And the best part about the system and how it pulls you in there is like, oh my God, I'm filling out my TPS reports. Well, if you fill out your TPS reports the best of anybody that fills them out, then you may or may not receive some sort of small bonus. And the research shows that monetary bonuses are still less welcomed than any kind of bonus that's more of the like gold star. It's like, oh my God, I want to be recognized by my team because I did well.
Yeah.
Versus like, if someone, like, standard deviation, let's say somebody makes $10K a year and you give them $1,000 bonus, but you do it kind of under the table, nobody knows, they would rather have the recognition than the actual monetary bonus, because people want to feel good about what they do. It's the conundrum of factory workers, and that's a really interesting study. Factory workers have the lowest satisfaction of anyone that does work, because you think about it. If your job is to make a cog, and your cog is going into a watch or whatever, your success is that cog is made exactly like it should be. So you have to be 100% successful to meet your base criteria. So if you did that cog perfectly every single time, every day, you're meeting expectations.
Sure.
You can't make that. So, but here comes the thing. There's nothing you can do to make that cog better, because you're a factory worker. You're not engineering, you're not designing, you're not improving it. So even if you work your ass off and you polish some edges and stuff, you really make sure that it's good, you're only meeting expectations. You're only meeting your job. But let's say you show up and you don't do that. Well, you fucked up. Now all of a sudden, 5 of 100 are messed up. You have to go fix that. You no longer have the ability to improve. You only have the ability to be worse than your expectations. So the expectation is perfection. And where are you? And it's a really interesting thing because once you apply that to a multitude of jobs, IT security is a great example of that. Because, yeah, IT security, it's all bullshit until somebody breaks into your system. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, TPS reports, that's an Office Space reference. So I don't know how many people got that, but yeah. It's just one of those things that I guess, I don't know if it depends on the job, if it depends on what, but yeah, I mean, there is value to those jobs. I'm not knocking any regular 9 to 4, 9 to 5 jobs or whatever, and also that if you are sitting there, and like you said, if you're just sitting there making cogs all day, and this is my point, that, there's not a lot of value in that, and that I think a lot of people really enjoy satisfaction in their job. Like they really, hey, I went and did a good day's work. And I don't know if that goes back to primal instincts or, just like, hey, I actually contributed to my tribe or my community or my family, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
And it makes a person feel good. I mean, it might just be personally speaking, but I know when I've actually done something very successful at work, solved a problem, put out a fire, that it was like, did that, man, contributed. I'm good. And I think a lot of people actually enjoy that. I don't really think many people want to go in there and just like, oh, I'll just sit here all day and just, fake like I'm working. I mean, I think that's what they adapt to. But most people, I think, actually, maybe this is just being too optimistic, but I think most people want to do good things. And I don't know if it's just in our genes, it's in our instincts or whatever you want to say. But I think, over time, though, yeah, there is shitbirds. And I think there are people who are just going to work every system that they can. But I think ultimately, though, I don't know if that's just, the nature that it happened and that just life made him turn that way. But I think ultimately, people want to do good in this world. I mean, that seems to be the most common theme in our human civilization, that it's always, all right, we get an iPhone. What was the first iPhone? 3, 4? What? I mean, iPhone.
So there's an iPhone, but I think the iPhone was after the iPod 3 or 4. Yeah.
So my point is like, oh, how can we make this better? Boom.
It's like iPod with calling capabilities.
Yeah. How can we make this one better? Boom. How can we make it? It's always a common theme with humans, that everything's always got to be better than the next, and which is fine. And that's great because I mean that's what led us here to have this conversation tonight, to have a full conversation over a screen and internet connections and stuff. But I mean, I think that people want to just do good in this world and make things better than we left it, and. Maybe that's just, like I said, that's maybe just me being too optimistic, but
it's a blend, man. There's people that want to watch the world burn, and you have to watch out for that. But there's also the people who want to, plant the trees by which the shade they will never experience, or however that expression is,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people who just want to watch the world burn. I mean, I just wonder, we don't really have to take a deep dive into this, but. With school shootings and just everything. I mean, that's been the most recent news, and that it's just
it's always recent news.
Yeah, there's always something that doesn't add up with those type of people, and again, I don't know if it's trauma, the environments they grew up in. I don't know what it is, but there's always going to be people who just. It's just I don't know. They just love anarchy. They just love hate. I don't know. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's the video games they played," or it's the movies. It's the movies they watch. And
do people still say that?
I think that's usually the argument when every time a school shooting happens, and of course, I don't have any statistics, and I'm probably the last person should probably be talking about this, but that's usually the first go-to of. They played Grand Theft Auto, they played Call of Duty, all they're doing is playing video games. And you and I, we grew up playing those games. And, I've never really, I don't think I've ever felt the need, I need to go shoot up a school.
No, I've never punched a hooker either.
Yes, and I've never stolen a car.
Yeah.
And, So, but I think that's the first thing, and it's just like, no, there's got to be something else there. There's something else there that
there's
the reason a
always.
person. I don't know if they cannot. Was it they cannot differentiate? God, I'm fucking up that word. Reality. Differentiate. What? God, why can't I not say that word?
You keep throwing it in there, man. But it's
okay. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. But they cannot figure out the difference between real world versus the virtual world. And we've never had that problem. To my knowledge.
So hear me out on this. I think it's less of an issue of being able to differentiate. Between the real world and the fake. And I think that there is truly a not give a fuck level that has went up. Because I think that these individuals are like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out. I might as well try to get a high score. And it's like, wait, that's not how you score high in the game. They're like, it is today.
Yeah.
And it's always, some, right-winging Republican that's shooting up a school, or at least the children of one, or a left-leaning, well, it's funny. The Democrats said, he's not one of ours after he identified, but he shot up Buffalo, or the female liberal that shot up YouTube. That's why they took away all the gun. What's it? You can't monetize any kind of gun videos on YouTube now. They're like, we got shut up. Fuck it, we're out. I was like, well, if you hadn't let a militant Muslim in, maybe. And they're like, well, we don't talk about that. But
yeah, I mean, this was Joe Rogan's thought, and that when people like that, they hate life, they hate their own life, they hate whatever it is to drive them to do something really awful in this world. It's always, what is the worst thing that I can think of? And it's always go shoot up a school.
Every time, because there's the potential there. There's the hopes and dreams there, and also there's soft targets. It's easy.
Yeah.
You can do maximum damage in a low amount of time. It's never like, oh, maybe I'll rob a bank, because the next step would be like, well, if I got a shitload of money, maybe I could change something. It's never about them improving themselves, which is, a lot of what like we're on here for, we're talking about. That's why, again, we're starting this, is to be able to improve ourselves in order to improve the external world we live in.
Yeah. When you say starting podcasts and stuff, is that what you're saying?
Well, just in general, so you take, if you make sure that you're a healthy individual, mentally, physically, emotionally, and by doing so, you can help others. If you're so inclined, you don't have to, right? But it becomes a question of like, if you are mentally, physically, and spiritually healthy, you're not a burden on anyone else. So in that, it's a win. But then you have a choice to do an even greater good, to help others. But you cannot, people in wheelchairs can't help other people in wheelchairs be pushed down the road. Not easily. It's an additional burden. I'm not saying that people with handicaps can't do things. I'm saying that if your health is in a way that you can help people who aren't healthy, you're able to more easily adapt to that. It's the same thing of like, if someone is a serial killer, you're not going to go and provide mental health, recommendations for people that want to go kill other people. Doesn't seem like a good place. Like, you need to be in a good place yourself in order to do that. And it's really about making sure that you take care of yourself first, and then you can help others.
No, I agree. Because at the end of the day, who's watching out for yourself? Usually not many people. Yeah, you might have some family in there, but
if you're fortunate.
If you are fortunate. But if you're not, that's something to say go take advantage of everybody you see and, try to live life the wrong way. And I guess whatever your definition of that is. But at the end of the day, right. You ultimately got to watch out for what are you really feeling? How are you, what did you think today? Reflect on it and like, hey, am I happy? Is my life going where I want it to be? And if it's not, Yeah, I mean, it's not too late. There's easy way to make changes to that. And and I'm one of those guys too. I'm like I think I've said it multiple times on my podcast that that's the reason I started my podcast. It was because like you and I talking before we got on here. I felt like I always wanted to do something, put myself out there, try something new, and and for some reason, like when I first started listening to podcasts, I don't want to say they changed my life, but it gave me a new outlook of things.
It resonated.
It resonated with me, and it was like, hey, there's more to life than just whatever tunnel vision I had, or what my outlook on it was. It was more just, hey, let me listen to other people's trials and tribulations. Let me listen to their obstacles. Let me listen to how they overcame something, or how like we said, when you were talking about what are we sacrificing to get to where we want to.
Yep.
I was like, wow, I didn't really ever realize that Robert Downey Jr. Was didn't he get locked up once or something? Yeah. Or when he
needs to be another guy on the back of your wall. Honestly, his mug shot where he's in prison in a fucking orange jumper, like. Seriously, he did a lot. He got a second chance, and I mean, people love a second chance story. Like,
sure. Everybody does, man. And it's
as long as you didn't do something too fucked up. It's like, I raped and murdered 3 babies. You're not really getting a second chance unless your second chance was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, R. Kelly was pissing on girls, and you don't see him getting a second chance now.
Drip, 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 pee on you.
That dude was killing a game forever until that came out. Then it was like, well, where'd he go? So I don't even know if he got locked up or whatever.
He got 30 years, and I'll be honest with you, Space Jam, track 4, it hits a little different now. I believe I can fly. Do you though? Do you though?
Dude was good though. I mean, not gonna lie, but
I mean, he could sing, but that doesn't mean you can go around and Jerry Lee Lewis a bunch of chicks. Like, Jesus fuck.
Yeah, dude, it's
you know about that?
No.
Dude, Jerry Lee Lewis was banging his 14-year-old cousin. Yeah, people don't talk about that too much.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
She shook my nuts and she rattled my brain. Pedophilia drive a man insane. I don't think that's actually how the song goes, but it's close. Dude, it's fucking.
It's crazy, heck, man. I've never heard that before. I don't know.
Yeah, it's rough stuff.
Yeah, but. I mean, speaking of that, but also, I like his music, and I don't think anything has ever.
Oh, Frank Sinatra, yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's just all right. But there's nothing ever came that, there's ties to the mob, and maybe something with Marilyn Manson. Was it Marilyn Manson? Not Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Monroe.
I was going to say Marilyn Manson kept Rachel Wise. She's on what's that show?
Who? You know?
Who's the main star of the HBO show with the robots?
What show?
Westworld.
Oh, fuck.
Rachel Ray Evans or something?
Sure.
Yeah, well...
I don't remember if I watched season 3. Did I watch season 3?
I haven't seen it, but...
I know season 4 is out. I haven't watched any of it yet either.
I'm going to catch up when it's done. But yeah, so... Like, Marilyn Manson did some fucked up stuff, but we're not on that, but... It's a lot of these people, like they fucked up, but they deserve a second chance. And there's sometimes I feel like societally speaking, you don't get a second shot. Like you fucked up to the point like, sorry, that you went past redemption.
Well, a lot of it comes down to what did you do? So, a lot of these people come out, they're doing big things, they're living their dreams, they build a following. People are loving them. Then all of a sudden, then it comes out. Like, like you said, Jerry Lee Lewis was banging his cousin. So then it's like,
14-year-old cousin.
Yeah. So it's even worse when like that way. But so it's like, all right, what side do we pick? Do we pick like, okay, well, whatever, no big deal, or do we pick like, wow, that was way, way wrong. You should never do anything like that. So it's like, what side of the fence do you stand on? And like like Frank out there, obviously he's still arguably probably one of the best artists out there. Well, depending on his music genre, I guess I should say. But even Jimi Hendrix.
Fly me to the moon.
Sing it,
Let me play amongst the stars.
I mean, even Johnny Cash. Virginia Tech uses, was it God's Gonna Break You Down? And one of their walk-up musics. Then they go into Metallica. So, yeah, I mean...
No. Metallica just got that, season 4 Stranger Things uplift.
Bro, yeah,
that shit was fire.
They blown up with Master of Puppets now, and they even commented on it in one of their Instagram posts saying like how fire it was to use that song during that scene right there. And then actually,
they had to green light it because they've always been very protective of their IP.
Of course, ever since Napster. But, yeah, but the guy who plays Eddie Munson, like there was actually a video on Instagram. He can actually play the solo.
No shit.
Yeah, for sure. He can actually play the solo part of it. I don't know if he can play the whole song, but he can play the solo. So I think that's even more like Metallica's like, bro, give it to him, bro. But it fit. It fit. Oh yeah, we were supposed to talk about it.
I mean, we
can.
Well, so, and for those of you that are, I guess again, it's the one. Then I enjoy throwing that on Twitch. Twitch is either going to ban me or not, but honestly, I think that it's a good platform to throw things on.
You just say spoiler alerts. If you don't want to hear anything about Stranger Things, possibly The Boys, then don't listen to any of this part.
Pretty much. So
that's all you got to say. Come suck it.
Stranger Things is really so. We had season 4. So you have season 4, part 1 and part 2. But really, we're getting what is either season 4, part 1, 2, and then 5 will be part 3, maybe part 4. Because the way they ended things, I'm like, I'm sorry, that's not a season ending. Even 3 is like, yeah, Hopper's in Russia now, like some fucked up stuff. It's not the same. Like, I'm not seeing this as a finishing of a story, and I'm going to jump ship and go ahead and say, fuck a lot of HBO being like, we remade the Iron Throne for the new Targaryen series, where we're like, fuck you guys. Until Snow knocks it out of the fucking park and closes out the bullshit that you guys fucked up, don't give me the fucking Targaryen series. I want nothing of it.
Huh. Well, all right. So going towards Stranger Things, here's my take on it.
So let's get back because I could bitch for days. I just saw that not too long ago.
Okay, so I didn't want to go. I don't know. I didn't read the books on Game of Thrones, but do I like how it ended?
I didn't either because that fat fuck won't finish his goddamn books. You know what? Fuck George R. Martin. Like, my book won't finish that way. It's like, motherfucker, that hamburger seems to finish his goddamn self. Get your big ass. And he's like, fuck a lot of people speculating on my health. I'm like, listen here, dipshit. Your legacy is the series until you finish that book. So don't talk shit, be about it. Fucking get it done.
Well, all right. So here's my
back on Stranger Things. Sorry.
Yeah, Stranger Things. All right. So, and you might disagree with this. If you do, that's cool.
We'll see.
Okay. So how many? All right. So in part 1 of season 4, what is there? 6 or 7 episodes?
It felt like that. Actually, okay. You know what? I'll tell you what. I want you to hold tough. Part 1 of season 4, I'm going to grab a drink because again, like.
Okay, I'll talk. I'll keep talking. You're still recording. I'll keep talking to everybody. Just go ahead and grab a drink. I'll keep talking to everybody.
Well, I mean, you can keep talking to everybody, but I mean, fuck.
I'm not going to give him any dead air, bro.
Hey, dude, I accidentally gave him fucking 16 hours of dead air Friday because I forgot to hit stop.
Oh man, this bro's.
So that was fucked up. I was like, God damn it.
But, all right, there I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. My connection was unstable, but I'm back here. So, yeah. So if you're not caught on James's, or no, what's this guy named Jon? If you're not caught on Jon's takes it, Shelor Slick podcast. You can find it anywhere you get a podcast. You can even watch a YouTube video on YouTube. Believe it or not. Get guest on there. And that just, people from all walks of life, like John was saying, doctors, lawyers. I've had a guy who he's a pro when it comes to fleas, and it's just really cool to have these stimulating intellectual conversations and learn about what people are doing outside of their daily routines. It's really cool. You wouldn't imagine where things go when you start something, but you should always just do it. And John is back with a fresh beer.
So that's probably, funny enough, I think that's going to be our biggest hurdle in these micro videos. So right now I'm taking notes of what are we doing? Why do we want to go? I think we slip way too much into the showmanship of the recording. Because it's like, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce Chris Shelor. My name is Jonathan Anderson. I am, in fact, the God who weeps. Because you know what? If you can't laugh, cry about it. Like, there's so much of that kind of smooth motion. We're not talking about some of the things that we're wanting to get into, the struggles that we're having, the fact that I'm using OBS because, OBS is a great capture tool. I'm using Twitch, etc. Not to detract from the fact that we're getting ready to go into the Stranger Things season 4, part 1.
Yeah.
But I think again, there's a lot of value in the how to and the bitching about how these stuff work. Because I've got a pretty banger system. I got a 3080? Because why the fuck not?
Well, to that point though, John. So yeah, we immediately got on here and we were talking about our
before the recording.
You're right. Before we recorded, we were actually being pretty vulnerable. We were talking about being vulnerable and having humbling experiences, and where do we want to get out of our content, and where do we see ourselves in the future. But when we started recording, you and I we have a good flow. We have a good vibe.
We feed off each other. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, if we would have hit record right there, we would have kept with that vibe. And, now that we went, piss and got a fresh beer or something while we were not recording. So, I do agree with you that, because I knew we were recording, I would say and John's back, but, we didn't do that in the beginning.
No,
so
it's a different.
We were still being ourselves in the beginning, though. Now, but we started feeding off, because we talked about sacrifice and we talked about hard work, grinding and working hard and stuff like that. Now we're going because we're talking about Stranger Things. That's something you and I both enjoy.
Well, so Stranger Things, what did
this would be a conversation we would have at dinner? I feel like
right. And it becomes, what did I sacrifice for Stranger Things? The missus doesn't like watching it, so I have to figure out a time. She didn't fucking like it.
You don't like it, but that's the first one I've heard in a while.
What's your fucking tone talking about my wife, sir? Jokes aside, I know where you live, and and I've seen where you sleep. But you get into this idea of I want to be able to watch all the content and comment on it. That's actually a really good point of what is this stuff? What do we want to comment on? There's so much content. What'd you say? There's 4 million streamers right now?
I don't know how true that is.
And 1 million are active?
Huh? 4 million podcasts that are out there, but I think only 25% of them are active.
So that's 1 million podcasters.
And when I say active, I think that actually means they posted a show within 90 days or something like that.
So, okay. And how do you be an active podcaster? How are you engaging? How are you interesting? And this is the sort of stuff, again, while we were talking earlier. How do you make yourself vulnerable? How do you learn about stuff? Because I was watching Stranger Things while I was also working. So I got a 9 to 5. I was working and I was watching this stuff because the missus, I'm spending my evenings hanging out with her. Sure. And I want to get, 7 hours of sleep like a normal adult. And usually it ends up being 5. But, trying to figure out when do you stream? When do you have these recordings? Because, dude, there was that a couple of weeks you were banging out 2 a day. And so those are evenings for you. I don't want to say they're fucked because you're making content, but you're not doing shit all else.
Correct.
And
it's one of the,
you may change a shirt between the two, but that's it.
It's a lot about, for me, that I figured out time management. So I knew that I wanted every episode that I thought would be really good for me to be roughly an hour.
Yep.
Like I said, or I haven't said, but Joe Rogan does 3 hours. I was like, nah, I can't do 3 hours.
Was that three episodes, 1 hour each, or?
No, he does what if you and I were talking 3 hours nonstop, no matter what. That's his style. Wow.
So laughably, we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes right now, but still.
Well, but we've only been recording for what?
An hour and 4 minutes.
So, and that's a lot of it that you and I could we do it? Yeah, it can be done. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I just know that my point is that, I have a 8 to 4 or 7:30 to 4, whatever you want to say. Then after that, I want to go
9 to 5 shift to the left. I'm with you.
Yeah. Then after that, I want to go train and do my CrossFit stuff. I got a competition.
So you're staying physically active. You're fit.
Yeah,
you're
that's really important. That's important to me, bro. And so then it's like, okay, I know I usually get home 7:30 ish. So, and I usually go to sleep around 11. So I know that, okay, I can spare a couple hours here and there. Right? Yeah. So I knew that I can block off times to do a podcast or 2 podcasts. And I used to think it would just be 1 podcast because, evening times you're not really, and that's one thing I found out about podcasting. They don't really fit with a lot of people's schedule. And I get it,
They don't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to record at 8 o'clock at night, and I get that because that's their time.
And people damn sure don't want to record at 8 in the morning either.
Yeah, well, and that's their time to actually probably, if it's family time or catching up on their Netflix shows.
Pets, like you've got
doing
there's 2 little wieners running around being assholes. They always bark at the wrong fucking time.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Like, do y'all just plan this out or what?
But you got dogs you're taking care of. You got family in the area. You got friends, and every week you do a podcast. Yeah. If I was like, yo, dude, let's hang out. Like right now, us committing to Thursdays means that we're not grabbing, food, drinks, hanging out on Thursdays. That means we're here in front of the fucking camera.
Well, and to that point too, though, you and I are good friends, but we're also having a couple drinks and we're also talking, and also.
So we leverage having that experience remotely, but still, like, if I was like, "Yo, dude, you want to go to Iron Tree?" I shout out to Iron Tree, and oh shit, I completely fucking forgot. Hard Part Barber. This is not their fault. I haven't styled my hair, but if you think that it looks like hair that could be styled, they did a great job.
No. But yeah, I mean, also to that point, though, we're able still, like I said earlier, whatever conversation we are having now, I would want us to have at dinner.
Right.
I mean, not say too much, oversharing or too personal about, money and addresses and social security numbers and stuff like that. But for the most part,
you think that girl over there has a cute ass? Like,
But for us talking about, what we have for our future plans and what we think about what life is going to bring us and what we want to get out of life. And
right.
I don't know, that's maybe a little bit too more philosophical, but yeah, I would want the same conversation at dinner that we're having now. And it's just a bonus that you and I can do this in our own homes and with a drink. And and it keeps us, we're talking shit to each other. We're having fun. We're still staying close. And and it's a lot of people that it can be kind of a missed feeling now because, it's so easy to do, but so easy not to do at the same time because there's always a million reasons to say no to something.
Oh, there's only a handful for yes and a ton to say no. But again, I think our generation, maybe not necessarily our generation, but definitely our friends group, we were ready for this. Like, we played Xbox remotely. We were drinking and hanging out remotely. Like, this is the pro camera version of what we were doing on Fridays anyways. So
this is exactly what we've been doing since college, but we're sharing it with the world. But
15 years later, I don't want to say that too loud.
It's us two, though.
Well, I mean, so Devin got on. We'll try to get some other of the Daltons. Of course, my buddy Adam, he got on. Again, gotta respect the Royal Republic of Morskov.
But yeah, I mean, but you're right. I mean, this is, I don't think we went into deep conversations. Well, I don't know if it's a deep conversation. Deeper than what we would talk about on Xbox. Usually we're just cussing each other out or, giving each other shit, which is fun. That's a bonding experience. We're having fun with it. We're not serious.
Telling the enjoyable things we would do to the other one's mothers, yes.
Yeah. It's always like, let me buy these great headphones. Did you send this? Let me buy $200 headphones. So I can hear how somebody fucked my mom or whatever.
Every time.
Yeah, so but it's one of those things that we've been doing it. It's just now we've decided to. But the only thing now we're just talking rather than playing video games at the same time.
Right, and I mean we could do that. We could fire up the box. Like one of my favorite things of being able to do these podcasts and having the green screen that I showed you earlier. Throw that up. Because we did. I think it was Shelor Select 70. Maybe that had the hell or the Hades in the background.
I think that was in the 50s, actually, bro.
50s? Oh, dude.
It could be wrong.
It's been days ago. Days, but again, it had the.
Actually, it was only a couple months ago, to be honest with you.
It's been a crazy trip.
It has. It's one of those things that when I started this, and I know you were like episode 4, your first time you came on here, and
Le Quattro.
We were on. That was episode 58. That you're talking about. But it was one of those things that I never would have thought that, hey, Chris, at that time, are you going to have 100 episodes? I'm like, bro, I'd be looking to get fucking 10.
Right?
Yeah, and now we're way past that. And it's a good feeling, and I'm glad I've done it. But I never would have imagined it was going to keep growing like it did. And
the question is, like, how do you feel in the next, so we'll say 3 to 4 years, about 1,000 episodes? So 1 to 10 is a big deal. You're at 100, but how about 1,000? Like 1,000 episodes. Joe Rogan, we'll use him as the gold standard. You can like
he's
him.
over 1,000. So yeah,
you can like him, love him, hate him, whatever. He's getting like 1,800. He's getting ready to 2,000 episodes.
Yeah,
and 365. That's what 3 years is over 1,000 episodes. That's 6 years of content. If he's producing it every day. We don't get weekends. You drop that off. So he's almost a decade's worth of content.
Yeah. Well, he started, it was exactly what we were talking about before this, that for some reason he jumped on podcasts way in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because he loved talking to people. He just loved producing content. It helped him with his comedy. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because he could actually, because a lot of comedians, they talk about, in my opinion, they talk about news events and current events and like stuff that's, like I just watched Bill Burr's new special and he was talking about abortion.
I haven't seen it, but
good. It's good that you watch it. I watched it last night. And so I think that's the biggest thing, that he can actually have these discussions like you and I are having, and then he can expand his mind into writing his comedy with that. So he can be thinking, ooh, that's a good take. And like, ooh, let me say something about this. That'd be funny to say right there. And then of course, he gets some rough drafts, and then he tweaks it to however he wants to. But, yeah, so it's one of those things that crap, I forgot my point. That, he jumped onto it early, and he just kept, he grinded, How much does he sacrifice? We said he was doing 3-hour episodes. Each one is literally average 2.5 to 3 hours.
So again, let's say he's doing that every day for 7 years. All right, that's 365 times 3 times 7. All right, I mean, throw that out there. That's 21. That is a fucking
21 something, 22 something.
So 21 hours times 52. I'm going to try to do some quick math.
I got a calculator here.
Yeah, help me out here. So 52, let's say take a week off. So 50 times 7 is 350. So 350 times 6. So 350 times 6, that gets you to enough episodes, but that's what? Fucking...
That's over 21. 350 times 6. 2,100.
That's 2,100 hours. To attain mastery is, I think, 10,000 hours. But in order
That's what Malcolm Gladwell says in his book.
But to attain a proficient level is over 2,000 hours. And I mean, he's already over proficient at this point.
Well, yeah. So he's 2,100. That's a rough estimate. 2,100 hours in just podcasting.
And that's not him fucking up. Like, dude, that's one of the reasons I think that this sort of stuff's valuable. Like, we've been fucking up, mostly me, not you. And so, all right, like, hey, look, I got my Knox gear. I got these again are shameless plugs. I got my Blue Yeti, but it's got my microphone here. I'm plugged in, so you can see that. All of my hookups, you can't see that shit back there. It's plugged into my computer. Got my Stream Deck, shit like that. Got my kombucha, alcoholic.
Let's go.
So the only thing that I haven't fucked up yet is probably this. I've got my Klipsch speakers, again, custom built PC. And this isn't like the humble brag. It's so much as be like, there's a lot of fucking just bullshit I had to hook up in order just to be able to not wear a goddamn headset. So Chris has a much smoother, cleaner voice. You hear him on his podcast. He hears me. And I did all this shit. And like, so I got my fucking camera. I've got my screen. And you think about that, like there's a lot of capital investment. Not everybody can do that. I think that I think a lot of people have started off on their laptops. You know,
even an iPhone, bro. You can just do it on an iPhone.
Dude, TikTokers on iPhones are making that Arab money.
Yeah. Bro, it's just a matter of do you want to make content? Okay. How do I start? How do I start making content? Because everyone's like, oh, well, this is the one thing about. All right, I got two thoughts here, and hopefully I remember them. So this is one thing that, I want to make content. I got to do it. It's like, well, I can't do it unless I have a custom built PC or if I have certain lighting.
Yeah, I went whole hog. Hold on, I'm gonna move my hands. You tell me if you know the guy I'm talking about.
Camera? 4K? Whatever, 60 FPS?
Well, no. Just like, have you seen the guy on TikTok? It's like,
nah, I don't even have TikTok, bro.
Oh shit! So I
heard Chinese owned it or something, so that's the reason I never downloaded it.
So I was out of TikTok for several years, but there's a guy, and basically what he would do.
Oh wait, is that the black guy?
The black guy was like, he's from South Africa.
He's on Instagram too. I know you're talking about. Like he makes so simple stuff, and he's like, you could just.
He's like,
here,
look at this being
do
stupid.
this. He's like, oh, you just click the pin, like.
But the fact that
I'm with you now.
I was able to demonstrate that, and you understood it. I mean, there's no reason you can't make content. There's people that are making tons of fucking content, and you can value it, you can not value it, but I think getting out there is a big deal, especially hiring. There's so many companies now that require you to interview via a video. So what they do is they put up questions.
Sure.
And you answer those questions while you're on a video. And you get a couple tries in case like, oh, well, I fucked up. I didn't hit record or whatever. They give you a few tries to get it right. But it's a blind buy-in. And there you are. It's an interesting concept, but I think the people that are putting themselves on video are setting themselves up for success in, I would say, the standard corporate world.
Yeah. And my other thought was that, what I was saying is that a lot of people, that I'm one of them CrossFit bros, that. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, I need to get in shape before I do CrossFit. No, you don't, man. Just fucking start it, bro. Just come to a class.
My fat ass gonna come and do a video of just the absolute awfulness that it is to be out of shape in CrossFit, but in a positive way. I'm gonna come down to Radford. We're gonna do it.
Exactly, man, and that's what, and that's the thing. It's like, don't ever fucking compare yourself to a person who's day one versus your, or somebody's day 1080 versus your day one. If you really, this is what I'm trying to say. If you really want to create content, if you really want to get in shape, just fucking start.
Just do it.
Doesn't matter. You'll grow from there. Like I just said, I didn't imagine I'd ever get past 10 episodes because I was like, all right, I got my fix. I did a podcast, whatever. We're done here. Now look, and I don't mean to jerk myself off on that or whatever, but
give yourself a little tug, not more than two.
Yeah, I want to give myself a pat on the back because it's one of these things I threw out there in my life and I did it, and I'm proud of myself. Because it was a huge challenge for me. One of the hardest things I've ever done to open yourself up to the internet is.
Have you been on the internet? It's an aggressive place.
Exactly. Because you'll have random people just go in there. I fucked your mom. Like, okay, cool, bro.
Yeah, I did too. Relax. Don't worry about it. Like,
yeah. And they'll pick you apart piece by piece and say stuff like that. That's fine if that's how they want to live their lives. That's cool. I don't think Michael Jordan was reading the YouTube comments and stuff that he got on his, and that's why he grew to where he was. But
now to be fair, Michael Jordan was petty enough that when he was inducted to the Hall of Fame, he invited the guy, that told him he wouldn't amount to anything. Like he paid for his flight and everything. Looked at him and was like, "Yo, like fuck you."
What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
And sometimes petty will carry you home, but it's still fucked up. But it's being able to establish and start. Maybe I'll send you this content after because I'm again just recording it and streaming it. I'm streaming it again to be able to talk about video games. Like we got a ton of stuff coming up. I still haven't finished Lost Ark. I'm gonna do that. There's the new Lord of the Rings video game, and Amazon is releasing content for that, and they're trying to do it simultaneously because, look, say what you will, Amazon's like Walmart in the 90s. They don't hate money. They don't hate money. And it's going to be beautiful. But back to Stranger Things 4. I think we're talking about that. Like,
we went way past that.
Well, and all of these. So, Chris, again, it's very difficult. I think the hardest thing that we're going to do is that both of us, you've been a professional longer than I have. I've done.
I don't know if I would say professional.
I've been a bullshitter for longer. Like I did, WVRU when I was in college.
Nice.
So, being able to talk on the microphone and clearly understood, and being able to communicate in a way that people can clearly hear me talk to you. Well, that's old hat. And I enjoy that, but you kind of there's a part of you that goes into the showmanship. Being on stage and doing that. I'm really excited for the opportunity to be able to work with you in these Thursdays to say, hey, what do we want to see some of the things coming out? I don't think that you're going to change your podcast in the near future. Maybe there's a few things that you tweak.
Yeah, I've tried a couple different things during my time here.
And, being able to just discuss and talk about how things may or may not work. Like, I threw out my new logo. And I was like, well, that's cool. People might think it's shit. You might think it's
Everybody's always going to have an opinion, bro.
But, for instance, how many people know you can go on Fiverr? Shameless plug. But how many people know you can go on Fiverr? We live in a time where so much shit can be Googled, but it's useless unless you know the questions to ask.
Sure. That's how I created my logo. That's how I created my intro music. That's how I created my outro music. Everybody's got some creativity in them at some point, but obviously it's one of those things that you were talking about being put in your hours and your craft. There's other people who just said, hey, I love music. I'm going to make shit for them or make shit. And so if I can reach out to somebody like that and be like, hey, this is my idea, make it happen. I'll love it.
Yeah. And there's
people helping people. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And
help me, I help them.
It's funny how there's people it's like, if I just had an idea, I could do it. And there's people it's like, if I just had somebody who could do it, I have the idea. And being able to meet up and do that, we're still like the the economy is garbage in the U.S. It's going to crash, but we still have access to so many positive things. And for me, it's a lot of work to try to stay positive because I'm a negative Nancy, mostly because, again, I've seen how bullshit happens, and I'm like, fuck. Like, California is getting ready to make insulin. I was like, great. It's like, is this the same government that decided it would be okay to run a whorehouse and somehow lose money? Like, how the fuck do you lose money running a whorehouse? I mean, it wasn't California, it was Texas, but...
I don't think I've heard any of that.
Yeah, it was in the 70s. There was a brothel that was seized by the government, and they tried to run it for profit. Fucking couldn't, because the government's really bad with money unless it's taxing you for their benefit. Then they're like, oh yeah, we can totally, we'll build this bridge for $130 million. Is that a $12 million bridge? Well, yeah, but it's gonna take a lot more money to build it. Why? Well, we're doing a good job. Really? Yeah, just ask the next guy that gets voted in. Fuck. But again, so I'm jumping off. The whole point is really to capture the process of you and I talking through stuff. Because like right now, I'm looking like, okay, like Lost Ark, I play about 4 games right now. Lost Ark, which is on the PC. I'll do Call of Duty, which is on the box or PC. And then 2 mobile games, which is Raid, Shadow Legends, and then 7 Deadly Sins. So I play those, try to get that into the mix, get some metrics and stuff. And it's like really like, why do people want to watch me? Why are people interested? What are my next steps? One of my fun things, Chris, is really I'm interested in interviewing people who are local business leaders, owners, getting a feel for them.
Sure.
Like what do you do? Why are you the best at what you do? Where do you see yourself and your business in 5 years? Like really kind of these questions, so that I like to build a community small up. If I was...
That's a good strategy.
So we're talking. If it was me interviewing you for the first time, like Chris, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to build? Well, I mean, about 5 years older.
Maybe 6.
5, 6 years older. But like where do you... Fuck you. But it's... Where do you see yourself? What do you want your podcast as a business to do?
Right.
How are you setting up your business?
Straight interview, not stupid jokes, like a cool...
Like, I mean, the stupid jokes aside, because I love that shit, dude. I dad joke all the time.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, like, maybe 6 years older? Like, what?
Yeah, 5 to 6 years older, yeah. But, being able to talk to people and say... where do you see yourself? What are opportunities? Because ultimately, everybody's trying to either figure stuff out, what they're doing better, what they're doing worse.
Sure.
And, again, a shameless plug for Twitch. You see these kids playing all of these video games, and they're getting the experience of the people that, I mean, not even like 1 or 2 years older. And they're like, do this like this, and you'll be better. And it's forcing game designers to be more aggressive in how they make games difficult. But it's also making gamers, whether they're professional or not, better. So you ask the deeper questions, you get the... Well, you're fucking lagging again. Dude.
I'm back.
You want me to send you some internet?
I'm back, yeah, man. Just send me that 100 meg internet speed if you got it.
Come on by, dude. I'll pull a chair up for you. Tom Bodette. I'll leave a light on, right?
Wait, was it Motel 8?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Lost, I think it was a Motel 6. I lost my
Motel 6, Motel 8.
Yeah.
Hold on. There is a Motel 8.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Like I
Bro,
said,
let's take it home on that since my internet keeps cutting out, and hopefully they'll fix it on.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock, too.
Yeah, dude. I do got to go get his 8 hours and get up in the morning anyway. Get back to that grind, baby.
Yes, sir.
Well,
dude, appreciate it.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for being here, bro.
Likewise, man. Good chatting with you. It's, I think as we do more of these, it's going to be less formal is probably the word I want to look for. I think we have that formal cadence of like, hey, Chris, what's going on? How you doing? Like,
sure.
Let me introduce myself. It's a big show today. Kind of.
I don't even think we even did that on this one. I think we just did a rolling start.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, I think really, honestly, we've only done that maybe a couple times. So the first and second episode, maybe. So
yeah.
But yeah, the rolling. I like the rolling starts, like what you just said, like better. Like, hey, wait, let's press record. We're going. We're moving. We're grinding. Let's do it.
Yeah, I hit it because, quite frankly, I was sick of us fucking throwing away content.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's my take. That when we start doing these, is that I'm not hosting the Tonight Show, and I'm not trying to be a hey, here comes John behind the curtain. Hey, man, sing a little duet for us or whatever.
Well, I want to be like the Tonight Show, but funny.
Chatting. We're just broing out. We're having a cool bro conversation, man.
Right. Chad bro chill. Wait, not that cool.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, no, I want to be like the Tonight Show, but funny.
I don't know. Maybe a few good jokes here and there, but. I want people to resonate with me. I want to be me. I don't want to be like, oh, I have to be funny for the people. I have to be a certain way for the audience. Just if they don't like me, they don't like me. That's fine. Cool.
Well, you don't want to be the monkey dancing for a peanut while somebody's grinding the fucking organ.
It's the same way when we look at talk show hosts or whatever tonight. There's a reason people went towards Jay Leno. There's a reason people went towards Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon honestly looks like he's having a good time.
He should be. When you get to, I don't even know. I guess he's being himself when he's getting her introduced or talking with cool people like he is and playing stupid games. And, he can't have a long, drawn-out conversation like you and I have, but he can fit in what he needs to in, 10 or 15 minutes. But
right.
So those 10 or 15 minutes, he's had a good time. How cool is it to talk to... What's the girl who's 11 from Stranger Things? What's her actual name? She was on there.
Millie Bobby Brown. What the fuck is that?
So you can just sit there and just chill and have a good time with a famous
something
star.
like that. But yeah, we talked about her on the last skit about the over sexualization of kids in Hollywood. But yeah, so you get to have these conversations. Yeah, it's fucking fun, dude. I think that's where you're heading. You're getting.
That's what I'm trying to.
Well, and that's one of the crazy things, and that may be something just to ask, like, hey, finding out, and that could be something we talk about in the next call. Like, how do you reach out to famous people? Because obviously, you have to talk.
That'd be a good point.
So, how do you reach out? And it could be as easy as Googling it, finding their agent. And moving forward.
Instagram.
Dude, so there's so many people that have done cross collab. I was watching something on Henry Cavill, and he was talking about how he was traveling from London to LA, trying to make his big break. He finally did a Superman, and his biggest influence as far as like stay positive was Russell Crowe. And he said that he had a letter from Russell Crowe that's like, keep pushing, keep grinding. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was something like really positive, Russell Crowe. And this was at a time he had just came off Gladiator, right? So Russell Crowe, he's a big name. He's wanted actor. Well, so Henry Cavill gets Superman. He's like, this is going to be great. Well, Russell Crowe plays Jor-El, his dad. And he said that was huge for him because it was very significant for him to play his dad in what really was, what took him off.
Right.
I was like, that's legit.
That's what's up. That's cool. That's cool.
So the world's a small place, but I'll stop recording. But we can have. I'm hoping, if nothing else, this will help some people see that it's not just smooth and easy. Chris has a very great way of interviewing people. He's got his podcast on lock where he goes and he adds a video at the beginning, the end. He's putting in metadata. He's really building and growing, but he's learned a lot of this. He's fucked up a ton of shit. Let's be honest with you.
Yeah,
like,
bro. First, if you want to hear how stressed out I was and shit, yes.
Yeah, and I think that's what people are interested in hearing, because
nobody talks about that.
Nobody talks about, it's like, hey, you want to be great, do this. Times. It's good times. You know what? I went out.
Easy.
What was it? It was like Bruce Wayne had to leave the yacht while the entire Russian ballet was on there or something. Night? Yeah. It was like, well, he had to leave. It's like, yeah, everybody wants to hear about, how you're banging the entire Russian ballet, but nobody wants to talk about how, you gotta, get your ribs broken by the fucking Riddler or whatever. I mean, the struggle is real, and people don't, I think people want to hear it, but they're not necessarily understanding yet, how to search for it. And I think maybe we'll be able to do that for them. And then again, also, being able to take this time, dedicate it, learn about some shit. Because, my big step is figuring out if I want to do morning shows. Am I trying to do some
just fucking do it.
1 2-minute podcasts? How do I want to do? Do I want to have a little display in the background, shit like that? Because I'm right now pretty good in terms of equipment. I think I got all the right
just
shit.
Do something, bro. That's all you got to do. And then you figure out from there. Just start producing, then figure out what you like along the way. That's what I did.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it, right?
That's exactly it, bro. I mean, like I said, start it in one way or the other. Figure it along the way. It'll grow in one way or the other. Just plant a seed.
Let it grow. Let it grow.
Jon, you're a badass dude, bro. Thanks for being here.
Likewise. Thank you. I will send you the raw footage. Thank you very much. Again, Christopher Shelor, Shelor Select. It's been a pleasure, privilege, and an honor. I am Jonathan Anderson, the God Who Weeps, because let's face it, I cry like a bitch. Have a great night. Take care.